Yeah, it's nice to get a little taste last night for sure, just to kind of feel what it's like. But that's just being a goalie, especially in my position. You always got to stay ready, and something that you get better at with over time. But just all you can do is go in and try to put your best foot forward and really give it. So that's what I'm going to do.
Are there parts of that you kind of enjoy? Because I think back to that night in Edmonton that sort of jump-started your season. Similar situation, you get thrown in, you almost don't have time to think. It seems like you do pretty well in that setting.
Yeah, I've always been, especially coming off the bench, I've always found success doing that. So I have a lot of confidence doing that. But there's no secret recipe to any of it. Starting, being off, it's just you got to grind, and it's never easy. And when you think it's going to be easy, that's usually when things start to go south. So you just kind of have to have that tension all the time.
Alex, you have a lot of playoff experience in the NHL and the AHL. You've been on long runs, but so how does all of that, what you've done, lend itself to this year's team's pursuit in the playoffs?
Yeah, every time you play in a playoff game, you gain a little bit more experience. Some situations more than others. Obviously, the American League playoff is a bit less pressurized than the NHL playoffs, but just being through it before, kind of understanding, that you just can't get too high or too low, that there's going to be adversity within the game and within each period and within each shift, and you just got to be ready to accept that and fight through it, and just keep in mind that we're gonna fight until as long as it takes, and that's the mentality that we have. And I think that, in my experience, that's the best mentality to have. Is if it takes 5 overtimes, game 7, then that's what it's going to take. But you just got to continue to fight for every inch you can, and treat every shift as if it really matters a lot. So that's the fun part about the playoffs.
Hey, Alex, when you see a goal like that happen to Ukko-Pekka last night, what's the feeling as the goalie on the bench watching that kind of thing unfold, and how do you feel for him, having that kind of thing happen?
Yeah, I feel bad. It stinks, but we've all been there. It's happened to everybody. It's not the first time. It's not going to be the last time. And you guys know Upi. I think if there's anybody that's equipped to deal with that in the best way possible, it's him. And he's got a very, very strong mindset. He's very mentally tough. So there's no doubt. Nobody doubts that he's gonna bounce back. But you just can't put too much pressure on yourself. And mistakes are going to happen, like I said, and the ability to rebound from those is the most critical aspect of being a professional athlete. So he's going to be just fine. He's been playing great, and everybody has extreme confidence in him.
It was a pretty heated third period last night. You were caught on camera, jawing a little bit. I mean, how much do you just love that part about this time of year, just how competitive it gets and how the animosity builds throughout the course of a series?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I like that aspect of the game. I think I probably bother some guys on our team because I take that approach too often. When I should probably just put it in the back pocket every once in a while, but it's just how I am, and that's how I play the game, and that's just how it goes out there. I mean, at the end of the day, you still have respect for the guys in the other team, and you have to respect them. They're phenomenal players. They have a really good team, so you don't want to lose sight of that either. That they get paid to play the game as well, but for sure, you just gotta, you don't ever want to back down from the moment, and the older I get, the more I really enjoy those moments, and that's kind of what gets you stimulated. So I really enjoy that.
So I'll follow up on that, I guess. How would you describe your the mindset or headspace you like to be in out there?
Yeah, well, I think. Excuse me. I've learned this a little bit, and I don't have a ton of NHL playoff experience, but I've been in enough with, like you said, AHL or NHL situations to know that the adrenaline is going to take over, and you're going to be very excited, and the more calm you can remain, the better it's going to be, because you're going to elevate with that adrenaline and with that stimulation naturally. So, playoffs is obviously a heightened intensity, but from the guys that I've been around, it's always just about execution, and you got to just stay right in the moment. Can't get too far ahead, can't get too far behind, and if you can just continue to execute and focus on the right things, that's why you spend 11 months out of the year, or whatever, 10 months out of the year, trying to nail those details down, have good habits, do the right things, so that in these situations it carries through. And so I really try to lean on that and really try to trust yourself. And again, just like enjoying the process is critical, just because it's too pressurized of a situation to place all that pressure on yourself. So you just have to enjoy it and just be in the moment.
Alex, you went through a stretch from after the Olympic break to early April where you were rotating in goal with UPL. How did that help you, stay fresh physically and psychologically during that span and prepare for the playoffs?
Yeah, you always want to find sustained success during the regular season. Sustainability is really important. It's hard to go 9 months and really exhausting yourself emotionally every single night. So that sustainability, I think, was really good for both of us. I would say even more than the freshness, obviously really nice, but just routine. We're all routine-oriented creatures of habit, So I think that routine was nice. Looking back, that was pretty good.
How does the road dynamic change in the playoffs, and do you feel like the success you guys have had on the road has prepared as a group for these next couple games?
Yeah, I think same answer as the last one. You spend all year trying to hone those details in, and I think about that a lot. Like, if you're in the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, how are you going to prepare? And I think to have that in the chamber and kind of understand those habits that you can lean on and those routines that you can lean on, it's really important. So for us going on the road, we don't have to make too much of it. We're going there to bring our best for 60 minutes tomorrow night, and that's that. So simple mindset and just do the right things, continue the habits that we've been working on, and just not to overthink it too much.
You've talked a lot this year about needing to love the adversity, I think is kind of how you phrase it. In the playoffs, every bit of adversity is going to be magnified like times 100, but how have you felt in the last, 12 hours, whatever it is, your team kind of handle what happened last night and, kind of park it and move forward?
Yeah, it's difficult to a degree, I think, when maybe you haven't had quite as much of that experience of the highs and the lows. I think, and not even the lows, because when you lose a game, you have natural motivation and you have natural fire. Whether that shows up or not is a different conversation, but that motivation is fun, and I've always really liked that. And like you said, you have to kind of love it. But one of the hardest things to do in the playoffs, especially when you're going every other day, is when you have success and when you win a game, to be able to control that emotion as well. It works in the same way as the negativity. And you got to enjoy it, like I said, but at the same time, you can't let yourself get swept up in the fanfare and the grandness of it. It's just a hockey game, and you go out there, try your best to win, lay it on the line, and then accept the results and then move on. For sure. I mean, that's not even playoffs. That's regular season too. That's just human nature. That's being a human, and we all are trying to put a scientific parameter on a very non-scientific thing, right? That's what goalie specifically is at the end of the day. But that's what we're all trying to do is kind of be robotic in an unrobotic thing. But you also have to understand that it's human nature, and like there's going to be highs and lows, and so you just get better at moving forward and not making too much of it.